Welcome to the Book of Common Point. My name is John Tenuto. We're going to talk about, let me get my notes. In this video, we're going to talk about the power of independent thinking. The power of being an independent thinker. It's in my book, The Book of Common Point. That's this channel. The power of independent thinking. Think about that. Are you a thinker? Are you a thinker? Are you a thinker? And when you do think, do you make decisions? And when you make that decision on what you're thinking, pick anything. When you make that decision on what you've been thinking about for an hour or a day or a month, or a year, when you make that decision about what you're thinking about, the power of thought, the power of critical thinking, excuse me, let me get it right. The power of independent thinking. It's the name of the video. The power of independent thinking. What is, a little test, real quick. What is the punchline to that sentence? The power of independent thinking. Where do you get your power from? Your independence. It's the power of independence. The power of independent thinking. So what in your life are you doing? It could be work, it could be religion, it could be relationships, it could be children, it could be hobbies, it could be whatever you're doing. Where is the independence in that process? Where is your independence, your freedom to think freely? Where is that in your life? Hang on. Think about that while I take a sip. And while we're at it, go make some pizza. Go make a sandwich. No, don't go away. The power of independent thinking. Independence. Where is your independence? Where is your freedom? Freedom of mind, freedom of choice, freedom of understanding, freedom of notion, freedom of creation, freedom for you to create, freedom to move around. Where does your independence lie? Or are you trapped? Are you trapped in a job? Are you trapped in a marriage? Are you trapped in a relationship? Are you trapped in a religion? Are you trapped? And do you want to be trapped in those things? Because anything that you are trapped in, anything that is controlling, anything that is suppressing you, anything that's manipulating you, anything that's moving you in its decision where it wants you to go, that is not you. That is not your life. I keep leaning in the camera. Independence brings growth. Independence brings freedom. Independence brings knowledge. Independence brings better health. It's independence that brings you a greater life. It is freedom from things bring you a great life. We tend to want to latch on to things or have things latch on to us. Oh, I'm going to follow this faith. I'm going to follow this God. I'm going to follow this religion. I'm going to follow this speaker. I'm going to follow this I can't think. I had a brain fart there. I'm going to follow things. I'm going to follow this band. I'm going to follow this this television show. There's nothing wrong with that if you look at it in the lens of truth. Look at it into the lens of truth for you. Is what you are following, what you are accepting, the truth? Hold that thought. I'll be right back. I'm back. The power of independent thinking. When you read something, dig out the truth. Where's the meat? Where's the truth in the subject? Where's the subject matter? Where's the truth? When you watch the news, where's the truth? When you listen to somebody speak, where's the truth? When you go to church, where's the truth? Truth is based on reality. Truth is based on fact. Truth is based on provable knowledge, not hearsay, not stuff somebody wrote down 1,000 years ago and you just believe it. That's not the truth. The truth must be factual. So if somebody's trying to teach you something, somebody's trying to preach to you, or somebody's trying to tell you something, find the facts, dig for the facts, always question, always doubt, always doubt, always doubt whatever information's coming your way. Always have doubt. Never accept anything for its face value. Never. I'm going to yell at you guys. Never accept, excuse me, never accept anything for its face value. Here's a good example. I drive by a house. Here's a for sale sign. House for sale. $490,000. Is that what it's worth? Sign says, house for sale. And on the stats, on the piece of paper that you get out a little mailbox thing. It says how many square footage, where the house was built, blah, 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 who the realtor is, excuse me, where the realtor is, and it says $495,000. But is that the truth? You're going to question that. You're going to say, whoa. The market value for this house in this neighborhood is about $450,000, maybe $475,000. Not $25,000 more. So you're going to question that. Okay? And one of the reasons why we won't question that is that we get emotionally attached to something. We don't question things when we get emotionally attached to something. Oh, you go look at the house. You do a walk through the house. You fall in love with the house. Oh, it's perfect in the rooms, and it's perfect size, and I love the bathrooms. Oh, the kitchen's amazing. I love the kitchen. You get emotionally attached to what you want, what you believe you want. When you get emotionally attached to what you want, you'll pay more money for it. Because it's your emotions that are driving you. It's my bunny in the background, throwing his rattle around. He's got a little baby rattle he plays with. So when you get emotionally attached to things, you do things that are not rational. You do things that are not true to reality, like religion. People do stupid things because of religion. Drastic things. They create wars. They kill themselves. They murder. They kill other people. They do ridiculous things because of religion. Because they're driven by their emotions. They're not driven by reality. Where's my notes? The power of independent thinking. Keep forgetting that. It's the power of independent thinking that brings you a great life. It brings you, better than that, not only a great life, it brings you a true life. That is the meat and potatoes of this video. I just hit it right there. I nailed it. It brings you a true life. It is up to you if you want to live a true life or you want to live a false life. So you may ask, what is a true life? It's not a life easy lived. What is a false life? It's a lazy life. It's a life easy lived. It's accepting the status quo. It's accepting the bullshit. It's accepting a religion that's bullshit. It's accepting, I talk about the crazy motivational. It's accepting crazy motivational speakers out there that tell you how to live your life. It's accepting the bullshit. Don't accept the bullshit, but have a drink. This philosophy is about living in truth. Live in truth. True to nature, true to yourself. True to nature, true to yourself. If you're not true to yourself, you will always fail. If you're not true to yourself, you will always follow. If you're not true to yourself, you will always be frustrated. If you're not true to yourself, you'll always be lonely. If you're not true to yourself, you'll always be misunderstood. You must be true to yourself to be an amazing person. I talk about that in my book. If you follow a religion, you're not being true to yourself. You're letting your feelings push your reality. You're letting your feelings create your reality. And your reality is not truthful to yourself. Why are so many people, I keep clearing my throat, why are so many people in the world not true to themselves? Because they're lazy. The power of independent thinking starts with truth to yourself. The power of independent thinking, thinking freely, thinking openly, sticking to your convictions, sticking to your beliefs. But your beliefs must have a foundation of truth in order for them to push you forward in life. Your beliefs must have a bedrock, a foundation of truth in order for you to move forward in your life. Here is the thing. I got a good friend of mine that I know that's very religious. He goes to church every Sunday. He's a great guy. We get along. I don't bang on him about his religion. I feel sorry for him. Or do I? You know, living with that veil, living with that mask on, living with that false identity on is easy. It's easy. So it's up to you. It is up to every individual. If you want to follow a facade or you want to follow reality. Do you want to follow a facade? You want to create a facade of yourself and follow that. And that is your truth. That is the truth that you built for yourself. That is a fabricated truth. It's not real. It's not real. And you got to look deep inside yourself. You got to dig. I mean, really dig deep inside yourself. Why do I believe this bullshit? Because you're lazy. You're lazy-minded. You're lazy physical. You're just mentally lazy. It is so much easier to be a sheep. It is so much easier in life to be a sheep than it is to be a leader. It's much easier. That's why religion is so popular. That's why churches are so full. That's why Christianity has millions of people that follow it. Because they're sheep. The power of independent thinking. How do you become an independent thinker? It starts with being a critical thinker. It starts with being a critical thinker. And also too, which really, really pisses me off. You got people that are really religious, and then they try to critically analyze a story that has been told to them for thousands of years that has no substantial truth to it. But they try to frame it as the truth. Because this was said by so-and-so 2,000 years ago or whenever. They try to frame it as the truth. But you weren't there. You were not there. And that story has been rewritten over and over and over again to the point where it's not even the same story anymore. Where's the truth? Where's the foundation? It's like looking at a house. There's a house and it's sinking. You got a house that's sinking. It's starting to lean on one side. And you sit there and go, well, I guess that's the way the house was built. I was told that's the way the house was built. That's not the truth. That's a story. The house is sinking because of reality. Reality is the foundation sinking. So do your critical thinking. Do your research. Why is the house sinking? Dig around the foundation. Dig around the foundation of what people tell you. Dig around the foundation of that house. Dig deep, and dig deep. Oh, it's sinking because there's a lot of water in the ground here. It's a very, very wet part. This land is very wet. And the house shouldn't have been built here, but it's starting to lean, it's starting to sink. How can we fix it? Critical thinking. You have to be a critical thinker to be successful. If you're not a critical thinker and you are successful, it is just luck. It's just circumstance. It's just the crowd you are around. Yeah, there are people that don't even believe in reality that are very successful because they are just pulled along with all the other people that can't live in reality. But is that you? Is that who you are? That is the easy way out, if that's who you are. Life is hard. Life is not easy. Life is tough. Life is hard. That's why religion's so popular. It makes it easy. Just hand it over to a God. Hand it over to a religion. Hand it over to my priest. How I'm going to pray. That's why that exists. It's an out. It's an out. It's an easy way out. It's not reality. See, the power of independent thinking. The power of independent thinking is much more enduring. It's much more rewarding. It's much more powerful because you did it yourself. You're doing this yourself. You're not relying on anything. You're not relying on fantasy about why the house is sinking, or fantasy about why there's a God, or is there a God, or whatever. Quit living in make-believe. If you can't prove it, quit living it. If you can't, not because somebody said so, or somebody told you so, or somebody taught you that when you were a kid. Oh, you got to believe in this. Why? Because you said so? Because somebody told you so as well? And many generations before that told you to believe that bullshit? Question that. And if they push back on you, I don't care if it's your parent, your uncle, your friends, and they push you back on it and say, I'm a critical thinker. I think out of the box. I think out of the box. I think beyond what I am taught. I think beyond what I feel. I think beyond what somebody tells me to think. I'm not going to be told to think. I'm not going to be coerced to think. I'm not going to be manipulated to think. I'm sorry for my stuttering, but I stutter. When I get excited, I stutter. I need a drink. Oh my God. You know what's really sad is I don't like to pass judgment on people. I don't. But sometimes you have to. In order to be sane, in order to keep yourself sane, you have to pass judgment on people's actions, on why they do what they do. And I'll go with the shirt again. Sometimes you have to pass judgment on people. But here's the benefit of that. The benefit of passing judgment on somebody or something or religion makes you dig. Makes you ask questions. Ask the question, why? Why do they believe this? Why do they follow this? Why did they do this? Why? The question is, why do they believe that? When you can look at it completely with logic and go, that is so much bullshit. It's not real. It's just not real. What you believe is not real. And you can say to me, as I'm speaking right now, but John, it is real. It is real. Can you prove it? If it's real, prove it. If I go out in my front yard and I take my hand and I go in my garden and I dig out some dirt and I hold it in my hand, that is real. It's dirt in my hand. I see it with my own eyes. I prove it. I can feel it. Not emotionally, but I can physically feel it. I can physically see it. I can feel its texture. It proves to me that I'm actually holding dirt in my hand. You can't do that with faith. You can't do that with religion. You can't prove it's true. Even if you have a response from what you believe. Well, I'm going to pray about this, and that response happens. Oh, you got better. Oh, Uncle Joe got better. Oh, this happened or that happened. Doesn't prove it was because of praying. It doesn't prove it. It could be a coincidence. There's no proof. That's why I have such a hard time with religion. And you can shut this video off and you can go, he's full of bullshit. The power of independent thinking. Please, please, please open your mind. Don't let your emotions lead you. Don't let that fuzzy feeling in you lead you. Let your thinking, critical thinking about the house. Why is the house settling? Do your research. Dig. Do your research. And if the research doesn't have facts, not history, but facts. History is not a fact. I can open a book about World War II and it tells me, well, you know, this happened in World War II in Germany on this day, and this happened and that happened. These bombs dropped and this happened on this day. That's history. How do you prove that history is a fact? By critical thinking, by research. Read many books. Study many books. Dig, and study. Get the facts. Get the facts. Get the facts. When you have enough facts that tell you in a book that John held a handful of dirt one day, then it becomes more believable. But in reality, if you weren't there, how can you prove it actually did happen? You can't. So you have to compile your facts. You know? For many, many, many years, we had 8 planets in our solar system. Pluto wasn't even there. Nobody even knew it was there until it was discovered. But was it a planet? What was it? Was it a planet? Was it a satellite? Was it a moon? Was it a meteorite? Nobody knew. But over years after years after years of searching and sending out a spacecraft to pass by it and take pictures of it, send it back to us, we compiled the facts that Pluto is a planet. We have 9 planets. That is a fact. Religion is not based on fact. It's based on history. It's based on what people wrote. It's based on people's opinions. It's based on people's experiences. But experiences don't bring you the facts. If I tell you I went out across the street the other day and almost got hit by a car, and then that gets written down, and then year after year after year, oh, John, the guy that wrote the Book of Common Point, he almost got hit by a car on this day. It doesn't prove that it happened. It's not a fact. You have to see it to believe it, not feel it. You have to see it to believe it. You have to see it for it to be a fact. Just because it's written down doesn't make it true. Yes, there's a lot of things that are truthful that are written down. But you still have to do your research. The power of independent thinking. Open your mind. Please, open your mind. Open your mind. Don't be driven by your emotions. Your emotions will fail you every single time. That's why almost 55%, almost 60% of marriages fail. People get married because of their emotions. They literally get married, they fall in love. Nothing wrong with that. But look at the person you fell in love with. Is it going to work? Is it going to work? Are you just going to marry them for love? The power of independent thinking. Think independently before you jump into that. Is this the person I want to be with for the rest of my life? Because I feel fuzzy and warm and happy with this person. Think about that. And will that person change in 10 years? Now they're 20 when they're 30 or when they're 40. Is it the same person you want to be with? Do some deep thinking about that before you jump. Before you jump. The power of independent thinking. I know I ragged on religion. I know I ragged on a lot of things. I want my seekers You guys are my seekers. You guys that follow me. You guys that really follow me are my seekers. You have an open mind. You're willing to listen to me in my conversations, our conversations. Even if I do stutter. Now and then, I get excited and I mumble my words. But I don't go and edit it out. Why? Because I believe in bringing you the truth of who I am. I will never lie to you, ever. I will never lie to you, ever. I will never try to ask you for money. I will never try to sell you a master class. Here's your master class. I have a purpose on this planet, and I am fortunate enough that in the last 30 years, maybe 40 years of my life, I found my true purpose. It wasn't being a comedian. It wasn't being a musician. It wasn't being a singer. It wasn't being a songwriter. It was being a giver of knowledge, a giver of wisdom. It's called discernment. I have a gift. Not from God, not from whatever. Don't even go there. It's called discernment. Discernment is knowing. It's looking at something and knowing what is right and what is wrong up front. That's discernment. I get a feeling about things. But that feeling is not just emotion. It's the truth coming to me. Because of that, I wrote this book, The Book of Common Point. So I will never lie to you. I'll give you my opinion. I'll give you my thoughts. I'm not going to give you my fuzzy feelings. Oh, we need to do this. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to say something to you guys. And I say it, I try to say it in all my videos, my newer videos. I want to raise a lot of money to build a retreat, to have a place where we can learn, we can gain knowledge, we can become wiser on a level, not emotional level, but a cerebral level. You can become wiser. Through the power of independent thinking, not bullshit. I don't want to be this big, high-priced, I'm a motivational speaker and I make, screw all of them. That's not what I'm about. I'm about bringing you the truth, honestly, with dignity and respect. I want to share my knowledge with you. The reason I want to build a retreat and the reason I need to bring in money is not for me. And I'm going to say this and I'm going to stick to this until I die, until I'm in the grave. I don't care about being rich. I don't want to be worth $50 million or $5 million or $100 million. I could give a shit about that. I don't want that. I don't want it. And the people that are driven by that, that's what they want. Oh, I want to be worth 50 million. They're screwed in the head. Because you can't take it with you. You can't. I want to bring it in through the Common Point Society so I can build a retreat for others. And when I die, and this is a promise to all my seekers and to everybody who ever sees this video, I don't give a shit about money. I don't want the money. I'm going to give it all away. I'm going to give it all away. Yes, in structure, yeah, I've got to build a corporation and I'm going to have money and I'm going to pay taxes and I'm going to do, because that's the way the system is. But I personally don't want to be a multimillionaire. Because I think it makes you ugly. It makes you disgusting. It makes you greedy. How many houses do you need? How many cars do you need? How much money do you need? It's gross. I don't want that. I want my retreat. I'd like to have a nice home. I'd like to have some property. I'd like to have some land, but not land for me to sit on because, oh, I can make money with it. 10 years from now, it's going to appreciate. oh, I'm going to be like so-and-so and so-and-so. And, I make $80 million a year, so I'm going to buy 5 more houses so I can make more money. Those people are gross. They're disgusting. I don't want your money. I want your attention. I don't want your money. I want your attention to change your life, to help you have a better life. Has nothing to do with money. Has to do with thinking critically. It has to do with the power of independent thinking. It has to do with the power of independence. Well, John, I need money so I can be independent. No, you don't. Independence starts in your mind. It starts in your mind. How you think about things, how you think about yourself, how you think about your present day, as you think about your future. That's your independence. You can have all the money in the world and you will not be independent. You'll be dependent on taking care of all that weight on you. Oh, well, God, I got to do this, and I got that. I got to pay all these taxes, and I got to hide this, and I got to hide that, and I got to do this, and I got that, and I got to buy another house. It makes you dependent. People that are rich like that are dependent on that. That's their cocaine. That's their weed. That's their fentanyl. That's their drug, is their money. Greedy little assholes, money. Money. The power of independent thinking, the power of independent thought brings you freedom. The power of independent thought, brings you freedom. Money doesn't bring you freedom. It doesn't bring you freedom. Your mind brings you freedom. Don't get me wrong, I wouldn't mind having some money so I can pay the power bill, feed my bunny, eat, not be living on ramen and tuna fish. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having some money. That's understandable. That's surviving. The power of independent thinking, independent thought is where your power is. It's not with money. Money will put you in a prison. Money will put you in a prison. I'm not talking about physical prisons, mental prison. Think about this.